And we're going to move from here on how to tone and letter and so forth. So if you know how to color, I'm going to assume you know how to color. You go into a new layer and you color the damn thing. For this, so I have my frame border here. You can see the frame border. It's very simple. I have my inks, I have my betas, and I have extra betas. I don't know why I put betas in multiple layers, but you know, I do what I do. In fact, we can merge those together. And if you didn't know, betas are the solid blacks in comic books. So you see how her dress is solid black? See, this is reflecting a layer's opacity, so you can actually like lower the opacity and it'll lower like the density of it. You can also adjust like the frequency. You can do a polarization and that'll adjust it too. This is an interesting tool. Let's delete this for a quick second. And let's add a gradient. Let's just add this gradient in here. And then we go over here. And now you can see how it has like thinner dots here and thicker dots here. And you can even do this polarization where it'll continue to adjust based on what you had selected before. And you can even add like a little bit more. So you can just like do. Which, you know, they're all different ways to do it. So, in theory, you could technically just color a picture and use that button to turn it into dots. In fact, I'm going to open up a picture I've done recently. Let's try the spawn one. Let's see if this works. And you just hit the tone, and now it has turned it into comic tones. You can do polarization, and it'll adjust it. I kind of like this reflective layer. You can just adjust. So it's like an easy way to kind of quickly tone things if you want like a heavy tone on stuff. And then if you decide to change your mind, you just click it and it's back to color. You use brightness of image, you can use color of image. And it does its best. It's not bad, it does what it's gotta do. Another thing you can do is let's get rid of this layer. So on a new layer, you'll often see me just grab a small section like that, grab my tone, and I'll have a little tone in there, and that's the tone I want for this. And then I'll just take a paintbrush tool, and then I'll just, you know, paint in it like it's a color. Because we are now just working on this clipped layer. And you can still use the paint bucket tool to fill in things. Well, that's... And it'll work like any other color, which is great. So if you just fill it in a little bit, you don't have to worry about the holes. And you just kind of do that. If you want it to go over, you can have it go over. Why would you want it to go over? I don't know. It's an effect. If you want to erase, you just grab the eraser tool, and this will work with any of them because it is on a clipped layer. And you just erase whatever, right? So it's not bad. It works. It does what it needs to do. And then, like, on top of regular tones, you can still do the gradient tones as well, which I'm going to, let's see, fill this in. We're going to gradient her hair up. We're going to select it. I'm going to clear out. I just hit this clear button. It's this same one up here, clear, clear. Then over here we have a gradient section. I like the dots or the sand patterns. The parallel lines really don't do it for me. But let's grab this 60. Oops. Now you'll see that there's this green box, and you can use that to adjust the angle and the density of it. And you can just move this crosshair. Crosshair? I think you'd call that a crosshair. To where you want it. So let's say we want it that way, or maybe we want it this way. Maybe we want it this way. You just kind of adjust accordingly. And you can shrink it down and have like multiples, or you can expand it like that to where it looks good. And you're good to go. Keep in mind that if you do things on a new layer like I did, even if you cleared it, there's a chance you'll still get some of that. So make sure you completely clear it out or delete the layer. And you can see like on my other layers that I have just a few tone layers. Sometimes I can go way overboard and have like a bunch of tones going on. But you know, let's talk about word bubbles. Oh, we don't need to anymore. Delete. Delete. Alright, word bubbles. We're gonna go over to the text tool. And be like, why you so dumb? Over on the tool properties, you can find your comic, whatever comic fonts you want or whichever ones you've downloaded. I have a particular folder I've set aside just for my comic fonts. These are wild words. They're used a lot in manga. Augie is used for like, I don't know. These are just ones I use. You use it for whatever. Why are you so dumb? Why are you so dumb? Use whatever to whatever effects you want. And our grandma's gonna be saying that right. Right? Yeah. Why are you so dumb? And it won't be black because words are black. Now that we have our text down, now I would normally do all the text, but we're just going to do this one for right now. We're going to go over to, you know where back to where the text is, because we want to add the word bubble. Sorry, getting a little ahead of myself. Go back to the text because we want a word bubble. There are a few word bubble options. We have the ellipse, balloon, which I haven't marked as red because I'm a dumb, and I also have it up to 120, which we do not need it that big. Let's try 20. 20 is okay. Being that I used 15 for the border, I'm going to use 15 for the word bubble. There we go. There's an eclipse word bubble. It's like a circle. It does what you got to do. A curved balloon allows you to kind of pick points, you grab and drag, dot where you want your next point to be, and so you connect it. And then you have a weird shape. Then there is the balloon pen, which is kind of my favorite because you can kind of draw on whatever shape you want. Why you so dumb? You can do like, why you so dumb? Or you can just kind of do it in a circle. That's not a great circle, but that will lead me to my next point, whereas you grab this operations tool. Remember that one we used before to adjust the frame borders, that hollowed out cube? We're going to grab that again. We're going to zoom in a little bit and click on the border. Now you see how up here we have this like weird little thing going on? We can fix that. Just kind of like bloop bloop and bloop that right up. And we fix that, and if we want to move this over here, we can. If we want to make it look like really weird and just like start grabbing things and moving it in all which directions, we can. There we go. Why are you so dumb? And then back over here to the to the text tool, word bubble tools section, sub tools section. We're gonna need a tail. They have balloon tails, or you can use your pen tool to draw a tail. You have to be selected on the layer you want, and with the pen tool, you just kind of do that, and it'll automatically add it in. And a tail is where the speech bubble's going. You know, but. They have a balloon tail tool in which you grab from an area and then you just double tap when you're done. You can make it go all over the place by just tap, 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 and double tap to add it. Blah, 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 blah. And that's gonna be fun. This also does an indent tool. An indent tail. So why would you want this? Let's say you have a character talking off screen. You would use that to direct it outside the screen. It's an effect you can do. The balloon tail tool doesn't really work like that. It just... So I will use the balloon tail tool in order to do this. The balloon pen, not so much does that, but the balloon pen is much easier to just kind of be like, bloop, bloop. All right, and on to the next. Bloop, bloop, on to the next. Instead of having to go, do, 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 and then on to the next show. It really depends on what you're doing and what you're into. We can grab this and adjust it, and it'll adjust its size. The word bubbles inside, not so much, but it will adjust the size. Like, not the text, but the word bubble itself. But we can always grab the text and then adjust the text bigger or smaller. And let's say we want to add a stroke to it, so you know, you have it outlines it. Why you so dumb? Alright. And that's kind of how you do the word bubbles. So we've gone over toning in word bubbles. Oh, and then there's saving. You can save as TIFF, FTO, whatever. But so when you get to this screen here, there is an option here for crop marks and default border. And here you even have offset to the crop marks. And if you select this, the inside of the crop marks, it's going to crop it off there. You don't want to do that. You want to leave that for the company to do it, whoever's getting it printed. Unless you're just doing it online for funsies. And if that's the case, then by all means. When you save these pages, it's not going to show the blue border. So if we go over here and we open up the previous pages, like you don't see any of the blue. Well, you see me touching it with blue, but get out of there. Get out of there. I don't know why it's doing that. It's because I have my tablet on it, I think. So you don't see any of those blue markings on the side, whereas when we're in here, we can still see the blue markings. You can see. So that's pretty much how I do comic. That's how Argama do comic. As far as what to draw and how to draw and where to position things, that's all on you. Experiment, be free, have fun. I guess the only other thing I would mention is white tones, but then again, they're tones that are white. They're pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, so that's going to be it for this tutorial. I'm sorry if this was long or confusing or you just didn't care, but it is instructional for people who want to know because they've seen me draw comics and they had questions, so I hope this answers your question. Anyways, thank you guys so much, and I will be doing a couple of more art tutorial videos, so we'll see you around. Bye! Oh yeah, also, you know, subscribe, share, comment, and all that YouTube shit, because let's try to get me up to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube so I can finally have that community tab. Yeah. Okay, bye.